Welcome, brave souls, to a journey into the depths of human endurance and the dark corners of tradition. Tonight, we delve into the harrowing world of initiation rituals, those ancient, often brutal practices that mark the passage from childhood to adulthood, or the entry into secret societies shrouded in mystery. Brace yourselves, for what you're about to hear may shock you, disturb you, and leave you questioning the very limits of human resilience. Throughout history, cultures across the globe have subjected their youth to grueling trials, believing that only through pain and suffering can one truly become an adult. These ordeals, passed down through generations, have taken on many forms, each more horrifying than the last. Let's begin our descent into this realm of agony with the Satere Mawe tribe of the Brazilian Amazon. Picture this: a young boy trembling with anticipation and fear as he's led to a clearing in the dense rainforest. The humid air is thick with the scent of vegetation and the buzzing of insects. But these are no ordinary insects. No, these are bullet ants, so named for the excruciating pain of their sting, often compared to being shot. The elders gather around, their faces etched with solemn determination. They've woven hundreds of these ants into special gloves, their stingers pointing inward. The boy's heart races as the gloves are slipped onto his hands. And then, the screaming begins. For 10 agonizing minutes, he must endure the relentless assault of the ant's venom. His hands swell to grotesque proportions, the pain so intense it causes hallucinations. But this is just the beginning. To become a true warrior, he must repeat this ritual 20 times over the course of several months. Now you might be thinking, surely this can't be real. But I assure you, dear listeners, it is. Anthropologist Justin Schmidt, known for his work on the Schmidt Pain Index, has personally experienced the bullet ant's sting. He described it as pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. But let's not linger too long in the Amazon. Our journey takes us now to the scorching deserts of Australia, where the indigenous Mardujara people have practiced their own brutal coming-of-age ritual for thousands of years. Imagine a young man, barely out of boyhood, standing naked under the merciless sun. The tribal elders approach, armed with sharp stones. Without warning, they pin him down and, oh God, I can barely bring myself to describe it. They make a small incision at the base of his penis and slice it open all the way to the tip. The pain is unimaginable, the blood loss significant. But it doesn't end there. Oh no, dear listeners. The young man must then stand over a fire, allowing the smoke to enter the wound. This, they believe, will promote healing. And throughout this ordeal, he's forbidden from showing any sign of pain. To cry out would bring shame upon him and his family. This practice, known as subincision, was documented by anthropologist Robert Tonkinson in his 1978 book, The Mardujara Aborigines. He wrote of the ritual's significance in tribal culture, noting that it was seen as essential for a boy to become a man. Now, let's travel halfway across the world to the highlands of Papua New Guinea, where the Matausa tribe puts their young men through a gauntlet of tortures that would make even the hardiest souls quiver. Picture a group of teenage boys, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and determination. They're led to a secluded area in the forest, where they'll spend the next 6 weeks in isolation. But this is no relaxing retreat. No. What awaits them is a series of brutal rituals designed to purge them of their female blood and transform them into warriors. It begins with bloodletting. The elders use sharp bamboo sticks to pierce the boys' nostrils, tongues, and penises. The pain is excruciating, but it's just the start. For weeks, they're beaten with stinging nettles, forced to drink large quantities of sugarcane juice to induce vomiting, and made to crawl naked through towers of stinging ants. But perhaps the most horrifying part of this ordeal is the crocodile scarification. The elders use bamboo razors to cut deep, intricate patterns into the initiates' backs, chests, and buttocks. The resulting scars are meant to resemble crocodile scales, symbolizing strength and power. Anthropologist Gilbert Hurt spent years studying the Matausa and documented these practices in his 1981 book, Guardians of the Flutes. He noted that despite the extreme nature of these rituals, they were seen as essential for maintaining social order and preserving cultural identity. Now, dear listeners, let's shift our focus to the secretive world of fraternal organizations and their often bizarre and sometimes dangerous initiation rites. We'll start with one of the most infamous, the Skull and Bones Society at Yale University. Founded in 1832, this secret society has counted among its members some of the most powerful men in American history, including several U.S. presidents. But what does it take to join this elite group? Imagine being a Yale senior, tapped for membership in this mysterious organization. You're blindfolded and led to a tomb-like building on campus. As the blindfold is removed, you find yourself in a dimly lit room, surrounded by bones and macabre artifacts. And there, in the center of the room, is a coffin. You're ordered to lie in the coffin naked and recount your entire sexual history in graphic detail to the assembled members. But that's just the beginning. Over the next year, you'll be subjected to sleep deprivation, psychological manipulation, and various humiliating tasks. While much of what goes on in Skull and Bones remains shrouded in secrecy, some details have emerged over the years. In her 2002 book, Secrets of the Tomb, journalist Alexandra Robbins pieced together accounts from former members, painting a picture of an organization obsessed with death, power, and secrecy. But Skull and Bones is just one of many secret societies with intense initiation rituals. Let's journey across the Atlantic to Oxford University, where the infamous Bullingdon Club has been causing controversy for centuries. Picture this: a group of wealthy, privileged young men, dressed in tailcoats worth thousands of pounds. They gather for a lavish dinner in a country estate. But as the night wears on, things take a dark turn. New members are forced to burn a $50 note in front of a beggar to prove their wealth and disdain for the lower classes. But that's just the appetizer. The main course is a night of unbridled destruction. The initiates are encouraged to smash up restaurants, trash hotel rooms, and engage in acts of vandalism across Oxford. The club then pays for all damages, demonstrating their financial power and apparent immunity from consequences. While the Bullingdon Club officially denies these practices, numerous accounts from former members and witnesses have corroborated these stories. In his 2013 book, Posh Boys: How the English Public Schools Ruin Britain, journalist Robert Verkuyk delves into the club's notorious history and its impact on British politics. Now, let's venture into even darker territory: the world of organized crime and their brutal initiation rituals. The Italian Mafia, with its centuries-old traditions, provides some of the most chilling examples. Imagine a dimly lit room in Sicily, filled with the acrid smell of smoke and the nervous tension of anticipation. A recruit stands before a group of senior mafia members, his hand outstretched. On his palm lies a sacred image of a saint, often Saint Francis of Assisi. The boss takes a needle, pricks the recruit's trigger finger, and lets the blood drip onto the image. Then, as the recruit holds the burning image, he must recite the oath of loyalty. As this saint burns, so will my soul burn in hell if I betray the organization. This blood oath, known as omerta, binds the new member to a code of silence and loyalty that, if broken, is punishable by death. Former mafia member Tommaso Buscetta, who became an informant in the 1980s, provided detailed accounts of these rituals to Italian judge Giovanni Falcone. His testimony led to the famous Maxi trial, which saw hundreds of mafia members convicted. But the mafia isn't alone in its brutal initiations. Let's cross the ocean to the streets of Los Angeles, where the notorious MS-13 gang puts its recruits through a gauntlet of violence. Picture a young man, barely out of his teens, standing in a circle of hardened gang members. He's told that to join, he must endure a beating from multiple members for 13 seconds, a nod to the 13 in the gang's name. But this is no ordinary beating. Fists, feet, and sometimes weapons rain down on the recruit, leaving him battered, bloodied, and often with broken bones. But for many recruits, this is just the beginning. To prove their loyalty and toughness, they may be required to commit violent crimes, including murder. Former MS-13 member René Pacheco, in his testimony to the U.S. Senate in 2017, described how he was forced to participate in the murder of a rival gang member as part of his initiation. Now, let's shift our focus to a different kind of secret society, one that operates in the shadowy world of intelligence agencies. The CIA, renowned for its clandestine operations, has long been rumored to have intense initiation processes for its field operatives. Imagine being a promising young recruit, whisked away to a remote training facility known as the farm. For months, you're subjected to grueling physical and mental challenges, sleep deprivation, stress positions, mock interrogations, all designed to break you down and build you back up as the perfect spy. One of the most infamous tests is known as Station Day. Recruits are dropped off in an unfamiliar city with a complex set of tasks to complete, all while evading detection from instructors posing as hostile agents. Failure isn't an option. Those who can't cut it are swiftly removed from the program. While the CIA doesn't officially comment on its training methods, former operatives have shared glimpses of the process. In his 2012 memoir, The Art of Intelligence, former CIA officer Henry Crumpton describes the intense psychological pressure of the training, noting that it's designed to select out those who can't handle the stress of clandestine work. But perhaps some of the most psychologically intense initiation rituals can be found in the world of high finance. Wall Street, with its cutthroat culture, has long been known for pushing new recruits to their limits. Picture a fresh-faced college graduate arriving for their first day at a prestigious investment bank. They're immediately thrown into a world of 100-hour work weeks, relentless pressure, and a culture that glorifies extreme dedication. New analysts are often subjected to hazing by senior bankers. They might be forced to perform menial tasks, like fetching coffee or dry cleaning, regardless of the hour. They're expected to be on call 24/7, their personal lives all but non-existent. One particularly brutal practice is known as the Sunday night massacre. Junior bankers spend all weekend preparing presentations, only to have senior bankers tear them apart late on Sunday night, forcing them to start over from scratch in time for Monday morning meetings. Former investment banker John Lefevre, in his 2015 book, Straight to Hell: True Tales of Deviance, Debauchery, and Billion-Dollar Deals, describes a culture where extreme behavior is not just tolerated, but celebrated. He recounts stories of drug use, sexual harassment, and psychological abuse, all under the guise of paying your dues. As we near the end of our journey through these harrowing initiation rituals, it's worth reflecting on why they persist. Despite the pain, danger, and often lasting trauma they inflict, these practices continue to be a part of many cultures and organizations. Anthropologists suggest that these rituals serve several purposes. They create a sense of shared experience and bonding among those who endure them. They mark a clear transition from one state of being to another, from child to adult, outsider to insider, and they serve as a test of commitment and loyalty, weeding out those who aren't fully dedicated to the group. But these explanations do little to soften the brutal reality of these ordeals. As we've seen, from the jungles of the Amazon to the boardrooms of Wall Street, humans have an extraordinary capacity for enduring and inflicting suffering in the name of belonging. So, dear listeners, as you go about your day, perhaps spare a thought for those enduring these trials around the world. And the next time you face a challenge in your own life, remember, at least you're not wearing gloves full of bullet ants. Thank you for joining me on this dark journey through the world of initiation rituals. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe a little relieved that your own coming of age was relatively painless.